You're watching Car Babble. I'm Ewan, and this is a BMW X3, the 20D xDrive M Sport. Now, I recently did a video about this car where I talked about the interior, the practicality, the infotainment system, and all that kind of stuff. But that's not normally why you buy a BMW. Normally you buy a BMW because it's actually quite fun to drive. So is this car any good to drive as an SUV? Well, let's find out. And if you enjoy my videos, don't forget to like and subscribe. Otherwise, buckle up and let's get into it. Now, as I said in my BMW 320d xDrive video, which you can check out on my channel, this also has the same 2-litre 4-cylinder turbocharged diesel engine, and it's just an absolute peach. It just pulls so well right through the rev range. It's so linear, it's got all the torque you need, and it really just, once you get past the initial low down rattliness, it seems to sound all right too. I just think it's an absolutely fabulous engine, and this car really, why do you really need to get a 6-cylinder? I mean, it would be lovely to have that extra power, but you definitely have all the power you could really need from a family car with this. Now, I've said before, I don't have any specialist timing gear, and if you keep subscribing to my channel and I start to make money off my channel, I might be able to afford some, but I'm gonna have to use the force to tell you the 0 to 60 time on this car and see if it's as fast as BMW say it is. So it should do 0 to 60 in 8.1 seconds. But BMW usually under egg it, so it should do it quicker than that. So I'll get a general feel for how well it picks up and try and tell you if they are roughly on the money. Yep, that's 60. And I better slow down before I hit this tractor. But really, I would say that is easily 0 to 60 in 8.1 seconds. If anything, I would say that is slightly less than that. That is more than enough power to do what you would need a car like this to do. If you want to overtake somebody on a country road, the mid-range pull will be absolutely spot on. But off the line, if for ever any reason you need to do a 0 to 60 off the line type test or really get away quickly from the police or something, this car, yeah, is pretty good. But really the mid-range is where it's at with this, you know. It's just such a good car at sort of 50 to 70 miles an hour. You've just got all the power you could really need and all the pull and the torque, and it just will take the weight of a family so well without really labouring the engine. And you know, if you had the 6-cylinder, it would just be absolutely orgasmic. But where you really want to know if it's any good is handling. And yep, it's pretty darn good. This thing corners really flat. This one has adaptive variable suspension, so you can set it up to be stiffer for when you want that spirited drive or more comfortable when you don't. But it really does go around corners very, very sure-footedly. The xDrive all-wheel drive really helps with grip, but it really is well planted and it goes around corners like a car basically. The only thing that could be better is the steering. The steering isn't the sharpest, and this has the variable sport steering, and yeah, it's just kind of artificial and a bit vague and really a little bit disappointing considering it's like an extra on the car that this has got. You'd hope that it would be better, but I'm guessing it's probably not any worse without that, but it's really just not the strongest part of this car, the steering, and I do think, yeah, other rivals definitely do that better, such as the Porsche Macan. But like my 320d, you've got sport mode and it just transforms the car. It does sharpen up the steering a bit, so it is better, but it does things to the throttle to make it sharper, and just everything feels tighter, and it really is just good to go, and it's just really fun to drive on a twisty road. Now, if you drive over crap roads a lot of the time, I would probably recommend getting the M Sport Plus pack to get the adaptive M Sport suspension that's variable, because you do notice a bit of a difference if you do some specific tests, and I've just gone over the cat's eyes in comfort mode and then in sport mode, and I did notice a slight difference. Now, this car has BMW's extremely well-renowned 8-speed automatic torque converter ZF gearbox, and it's an absolute peach. It really is such a good gearbox, and it blends the gears so smoothly. There's really not a lot of lag when you floor it. It's a really good gearbox, and because it's a torque converter one, out of warranty as well, it's not going to be a flight risk like a dual clutch could be. Much more likely to not need major maintenance cost thrown at it, but it's just such a good gearbox, and you've got the paddles as well to use. It's fabulous. But yeah, you can have 6-cylinder engines with this car, but they're definitely not going to be as fuel efficient as this. But it really depends on the type of driving you do. If you do long journeys a lot and you're on motorway speeds a lot, this is where a diesel really can be a massive difference, and a 2-litre 4-cylinder one particularly will be the best blend, I think, of performance and economy. This one, the real world average is about 40 miles per gallon since it's come out of the factory, but if you're doing longer runs, it's more like near 50, and that's from the owner saying that. So yeah, it makes more sense if you do longer journeys, certainly. If you do shorter journeys, that's where you might want to start looking at the plug-in hybrids, or even the petrols, or maybe even an electric car. Visibility is excellent as well. Really big wing mirrors, really good visibility all around the car. Absolutely great. You've got a rear view camera with this, and it's really high res. Really is very, very good for that, and so I couldn't ask for more, to be honest. And refinement as well. It's pretty quiet in here. I really can't say much about that. Is it the quietest car I've ever been in? No, but it's not really loud at all. Don't hear any noise from the tires, even though these are 20s. Don't hear any wind whistle. Just generally think it's pretty quiet, and I feel like I can hear my voice and the acoustics of my voice pretty well. So overall, they've got that right too. But this head-up display is absolutely brilliant. It really is. As long as you've not got polar light sunglasses on, great information in there. And yeah, it just means that this digital cockpit, whether you're a fan of it or not, you don't really need to look at it very often. And as I said in my first video, I absolutely love the steering wheel. It's just so pliable, and oh, just love holding it. It's an absolute joy. I just wish they could have got a slightly comfier seat to match it, because I really would be struggling to find anything negative to say about this. Compared to the previous generation of X3 and other BMWs like my F30, the seat thigh extension is slightly longer in the seat, even if the seat isn't as comfortable, and so you do feel like if you've got longer legs, which I don't, that they're going to be better supported, so that's good. Something else I've noticed is that the start-stop system in this car is a lot better than in my 320d F30. So the generation change between the BMWs, they've definitely worked on that, and it does feel a bit sharper, it coming on quicker when you get going, as opposed to feeling like there's a bit of a lag there and you end up just wanting to switch it off so it's never there. So yeah, you might actually use it, and therefore technically it'll save your fuel economy a bit. Now this has an interesting safety feature that I've not experienced before, and it's every time you pull away, it tightens your seatbelt, and you really feel like it's jamming you back in your seat. I'm sure you could switch that off if you didn't want it, but I'm not really feeling that, to be honest. I kind of feel like, yeah, I've got this far in life by being able to adjust my seatbelt as required. I don't really need the car to do that for me, but yeah, the BMW seems to think that you do. I just love chugging along and being like, oh, I want to change my music. I'll just use this little scrolly wheel here. Or if I really fancy using the touchscreen, dink, there you go. You know, it's just such a great car for usability and functionality, and even the biggest morons will be able to use this infotainment system with no problems whatsoever. Something I really like is the key. This is the M Sport lines on the side here, but yeah, I just think that's a really nice robust looking key and simple to use with big buttons down the middle of it, as opposed to a Volvo key which feels really cheap and the buttons are down the side and they're harder to find when you try to press them quickly. Yeah, well done BMW. So guys, I hope you enjoyed my in-depth review of the BMW X3. I really do love this car, and yeah, compared to the ones I've driven in this segment so far, I do love Volvos for certain things, and certainly they're the safest cars really in the segment, although a Tesla is actually even better. But yeah, that aside, I do think Volvos do a lot of things well. Their seats are super comfy, but then the seats in the Porsche Macan are super comfy, and the Audi Q5 were pretty good. Practicality wise though, that's where I think this car wins, because if it was up against the Porsche Macan, if I didn't have a family, yeah, the Porsche Macan might be the one I'd go for. But if I had a family, as a driver's car with practicality, this one is the best. And then the tech side of things, it's comparable to the Audi Q5, and it's just the seat comfort that kind of niggles at me a little bit. But I can get over that, to be honest. I just feel like this one does so many things really, really well, and as a family car, this would definitely be on my shopping list. I really, really do like this car, in case that wasn't obvious. So I'd love to know your thoughts, so please do leave me a comment below, and if you enjoyed the video, please do give it a like, and think about subscribing, because there's loads more coming up on the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.